What is art? Just can't start this one. I've been trying already a couple of times, but there are people everywhere, and I keep getting shied out by people seeing me with a selfie stick and seeing my true face, seeing my vanity for what it really is. What is art? I've been thinking about this for a very long time now. I think the first time I was ever questioning was what is art is when I started playing Minecraft. I started playing Minecraft and I saw some other people who did pixel art with Minecraft. And I thought, well, surely that is art. But my dad was not convinced. I think I brought it up to him, and I think it was my idea. I initiated the conversation because he has a very, I won't say negative. He has a very pessimistic attitude towards video games in general. When he was young, he played a computer game, and he kind of got sucked into it, and then he bounced himself off of it, like kind of because he didn't like where it was taking him. It was, well, some people are easily addicted by shit like video games, so I guess for him that was the right thing to do, and he did it, and he never ever played computer games really ever since. As far as I know, I'm going down a very steep hill, very steep. You can probably see it right behind me. So, I think I brought this conversation to him. Maybe it started kind of like I would play Minecraft and he would go around and being like all grumpy about it. He's like, "Wow, now computer games." Rah, 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 rah. But I somehow remember that I initiated the conversation. Maybe he was being all grumpy, or maybe I deliberately like played Minecraft in a kitchen or something like that. And I was like, "What is art, Dad?" So we argued about was doing something in Minecraft a form of art? If I built a house, if I did a sculpture, was that art? If I played a game like survival game, just survive and thrive and shit like that, was that like any other game? Like, for example, hide and seek and something like that. I don't know, and give me any childish game that children play. And he didn't buy it at the time. He's I'll put it this way. He considers things, when you throw arguments at him, he won't concede the point, I guess, like most people do, most smart people. He won't just concede the point to you. He will first take it in his head and he might think about it if there is something in it, or he just might not think about it if he just really doesn't care. So at that time, he didn't concede the point to me that doing something in Minecraft was a form of art. He didn't agree. He hadn't agreed. Past tense, you got me. So I don't know if he changed his mind since. I don't think that ever was brought up ever again, because I made my mind at that point. I was final in my decision, in my understanding that yes, Minecraft is indeed, can be an art. Minecraft, the game, can be used as a medium to do art. Okay, I'm walking through a bog here, and not a bog, it's a swampy swamp, I guess. It's not a bog, it's just water everywhere, so I have to be careful. So I made my mind that Minecraft could be used as a medium to create art. But ever since that moment, I had a new question. What other mediums can be used to create art? Like, for example, in the past, I had a history. Oh, look, it's a very pink colored flower. In the past, I had a history of heavily shitting on abstract art or surreal art. I would concede to some artists if I found that it was like interesting in terms of composition or whatnot. I would say, yeah, that's cute. That's cute. But not really art, though. Ever since, of course, I changed. But I had such a period in my time where that was what I thought. But that entire conversation about Minecraft started me on this path of asking, what is art? What mediums, what media can be used to do an art? How do I know when I'm looking at something if that is indeed art? And today I think I found a couple new answers. I say life itself is art. Being is art. The expression in any, like, expression of anything in any way, shape, or form could be art. It is, but it also could be an art. Okay, the sun. It is art, but it requires us to come and interpret it as such in order to become art. This idea came to me as I was just sitting in my chair drinking my tea, and I just felt good, you know. And I was thinking about the movie Cloud Atlas. Everything was going kind of great, but kind of not at the same time. Like, my chest pains never cease to torture me. My life situation is questionable at this point. I don't have any sort of income. But that moment, that singular occasion, I wouldn't call it moment because moment slices time. I would say occasion, that cloud of properties of a time period, which was that little moment that lasted more than a moment, but regardless of that, that was art to me. It was beautiful. And even now, here, I'm standing here and I'm looking at this. And through me observing this and interpreting it, this becomes an art. I would categorize art as a kind of unity, I don't know, not unity, as a collaboration of beauty and meaning, of beauty itself is a little bit of a complicated thing, and I don't want to dabble into that right now. What I would like to say here is that if you find something beautiful, the fact that it is beautiful is inevitably linked with interpretation of that, with the meaning behind it all. I would always ramble poetic about how, for me, art, like, give me any sort of art. How for me it was, I guess it still is, but I would categorize this as the main thing, of looking at the person who made that, who created this thing, and like how that person expressed something in this, how the painter was painting his painting with brush strokes, what his life was like, how he came to the scene where he painted that art. Whoa. Right now I'm thinking, as I'm speaking, I'm thinking about one of my by far favorite artists, Van Gogh. When I look at his paintings, I can see how he was thinking. I can see into his head, because his art style, you can see the brush strokes, and you can see which ones were below and which one he put later. You can see the colors and the choices he makes in order to express something in a painting. And for me, that's what has always been so beautiful about his art. It's that I can see him in there. I can see this person in there, and I can say to him, yeah, I see you. You were long dead, but I see you. I can understand you. You were a person. You saw this beauty in the world, and you created a new different kind of beauty through you. You combined reality that exists with yourself, and you put that on the canvas. So I would always say that art for me is the ability to see a person through some medium. Not media, but medium. But recently, I've been reconsidering it. And I think there is more to this idea. It's not just that I want to see a person through that art. Yes, of course, I do want to see a person in some art. But it's more of, for me, art is the entire state of world that led to this frontal thing that we call a piece of art. A painting, what context it was painted in, everything about it, combining, intertwining, and in the end, uniting into this one little piece of art, this one media. One media. That's what art is to me. That's how, for example, I would always do programming. I would have some sort of, that's why I liked web design, web development, not design, so much, is that I would have this frontal page of a website or whatever service I was making. And my entire code base, the backend, the API, the front end, the logic of all of it, the frameworks that I always enjoyed writing myself, these kind of little tiny frameworks for different things, all of that combined into the creation of this one thing. It's like a dance. Imagine a robot, mechanical, put it that way, a mechanical ballerine dancing. For me, the art here would be not just her dance, but everything about that dance. How all of her internal machinery allows her to move. How the music is being played, because if it's a mechanical ballerine, you know, those little wind-up things, they have their own little music box in them. All of this together would be art to me. And in life, when I fix a moment, I put a pin on it, and I look at it and I say, this here right now is a piece of art. Everything that led to that moment would be also part of this artwork that is that moment. And our different ways, our different shapes of art objects, paintings, music, books, novels, whatever, poetry, all of that is just that moment in a life that you pin down and you say, this is a piece of art. Here, right now, I put a pin in here. And then you give it to other people, and they can look into it and see everything about it, everything that... See that helicopter there? Everything about it. Everything that made this thing possible. That would be art. I'm making this video right now. I'll add some music, I'll add an intro and an outro. I'll upload it onto YouTube. and it'll be a piece of art. And for me, when I'm rewatching it years later, if and cringing at it, I was like, look at that, look at that noob, look at that noob, look at that idiot. The art in this piece would be this existence that I am part of right now. That city, these random rocks on a freaking mountain, I don't know why they're here. The path I took, the sun, the evening sky, the birds singing, the helicopter that flew by, the random black smoke. I don't think you would be able to see it. It's like over there. Yeah, there you go. No, you can barely see it. Everything about this would be art. It's a state of a world pinned down, captured in some way or shape or form, that allows us, that gives us this, you can view it as a key to this reality, this alternative world that no longer exists, but that was once, or might have never existed, but again, this never existed was created by somebody with their own world in which they existed. That, I think, is art. Life is art. Putting meaning into things is art. So next time you are hanging your socks to dry after you wash them, you're making yourself a tea and sugar is all swirling in the cup, you look at it in the sunset and the rays of it are on your fingers. The next time you exist and you reflect on this fact of you existing, on this occurrence, on this reality, you look at that, that might be art, but not if you don't say that it is. Like, say, sitting on a toilet, farting and pooping. That might be art. But only if I say so. Or if somebody says so. Maybe somebody, look at it and it's like, oh, that's beautiful. That's a piece of art. That's so meaningful. And I was like, no, bro. It's piece of shit, not piece of art. In English language, art doesn't mean shit. Shit doesn't mean art. But they'll be like, look at the internet. And I'm like, you got a point. So yeah, I think that is it. That's kind of everything I want to say. Wait, no, not everything. I want to add one little thing. I want to add a little rant about capitalism. Look at me, oh, evil socialist, Marxist, fuck a bitch. I am privileged. I am well educated. I am more or less rich at this point in time, because that I became such because I was privileged to be born into this intellectual class, a class of intellectuals. Because I got a good education, I was able to find myself a job for the winter, and I worked and I got myself some little sum of money. And now it's been 2 weeks of summer, and how I started my summer and how I am now. These two are very different people, very different outlooks on the world, with very different sets of ideas, very different pieces of art. These two states of being. And I was only able to do this much and to change this much ever since I finished just 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, that's like nothing. I was only able to change this much because I'm privileged enough to not work. And I don't need much. I eat bread and eggs and porridge and very basic and very cheap shit. The most basic. I eat less than I ate in the fucking military. I don't need much. All I need is just free time where I can think and reflect, look into myself, look around me, look at other people, and just be me. I was not able to do this at winter. Very slowly, I would do it, yes, but I would work. The same thing was when I studied in university. I would study. It did change me. Also, university, of course, more than doing the work. But it was different. It was not a path of exploration, but it was more of a, like how our habits change us. It's more like when your sleeping habits shift. If you go to bed late, you start waking up later. And if you wake up later, you only want to go to bed even later. It's something that's kind of happens to you. But you don't really have a way of reflecting on it in any meaningful type of way. You cannot spend, like, you know, there's this famous story about Descartes. How Descartes, or whatever you want to call him in English. The guy, I think there are 4 a.m. Friends came to his house, and it was midday, and they saw him in bed. And they're like, what the fuck? What are you, a lazy bum? What are you doing here? Why are you not doing anything useful? He was like, well, I was thinking. Just this. Like, I won't necessarily stay in bed. I mostly walk around my flat, you know, like that. In a circle. But still, this time to think, time to reflect, because when you do work, people say, yeah, you know, you've done your work, then you go back home and you can do anything you want. Really? Is that what you do when you get back from work? I don't know what kind of work you work then. Because when I get back from work, I just like, fuck, I'm fucking tired. I cook and I do some basic house shit. Like, work is called work for a reason. We do labor. We do work there. And it ends, we have the hours of the day when we are no longer productive. That's why we have this week hours, or whatever you want to call them. So when I was done with work, I would just go for a walk, listen to some music, and be like, fuck yeah. You know, I'm fucking tired. Yeah. And it's me, a privileged fucking person, who after working for the winter can now spend at least summer more or less carefree. On a kind of shitty diet, but more or less carefree. Being murdered by his own stomach and chest and pains and shit. But still, carefree though, right? Doesn't matter. I choose this. And that's what capitalism does to people. I don't want to just put the blame on capitalism entirely. What I want to say is that in the context of history, we now do have enough of basic shit to provide people with their bare necessities, with their bare, very basic needs. We do have enough for people who would need that kind of thing. And a lot of people do need that. I'm here all whining about fucking capitalism, and I'm not even being oppressed by it. Fuck me. I wanted to add something else. What was it? Time is not infinite. Don't go wasting it on shit. There is so much beauty in this world. So much art you could potentially make. Yes, we all need to eat and shit and get a flat, live somewhere, you know, wipe our ass. We don't need all that. But don't work to live just to live to work. I think that's it. It's not the note that I wanted to add on though. Art is great. Art is everything. Here right now. I exist in this. Look at this. Look at the sky. There's a plane that crossed here. It's still going. Somewhere there, behind the tree. Look at the sunset right there. Look at how it's reflected in the windows of the houses. Can you see it? No, I don't think you can. Camera is not so good. Scientists create art when they do their science, when they invent things, research. They look at things and they inspect them and they try to understand deeper what is happening here. That is art. A being pinned down in a piece of art, interpreted with our understanding of beauty and logic and facts. Valentine destroys art with logic and facts. Okay, that's it. That was a little bit of a cool ramble. Thank you for watching. And I'll see you all next time Bye bye. Oh man, this is definitely art. Look at me. So handsome. Oh my god, oh my lord. Look at me. I'm so handsome. In this coat. Oh my. Oh, this is stylish. Oh wow. Oh wow, wow.